support these sectors. But broad-based tariffs, almost all economists agree that what they will do is hurt us by raising prices, possibly.
大家好啊，今天是2024年的12月11号。耶伦，美国的前财长，大家都知道吧？他即将离任了嘛？我们看看他对离任前对中美关系的看法，以及对特朗普即将加征关税的这样的一个看法。好，我们废话不多说，一起看一下。
Let me pivot to China, and this has been a relationship I think you've invested a lot of time and energy in kind of rebuilding a conduit of communication between Washington and Beijing. You have deputies right now heading to China for meetings with their counterparts, meetings taking place in South Africa as well, reportedly.
Yes.
There is concern about what would happen if that relationship, the U.S.-China relationship, were to return to the place it was in when you took office now 4 years ago. How much does that concern you, and what would the consequences of that be if the efforts that you've put in to rehabilitate that relationship go to the wayside?
So I do think it's important to have ongoing communications at all levels, from to senior U.S. officials to staff that need to communicate. Just having open channels of communication is valuable, and I believe it will be seen as continuing to offer value. These are channels by which we can make clear what we're unhappy about, where our concerns are and why we have them. Well, we have significant concerns about Russia's economic policies that we discuss in these channels. It's also the case that we have shared global interests, whether it's in climate change, combating pandemics, dealing with potential financial disruptions that could affect global financial markets. We're also using these channels to build trust in channels for cooperation so that we can work together where our interests coincide. So there's no question that we have serious concerns both from a national security point of view and a broader economic view with China's behavior. But nevertheless, as the two largest economies in the world, it's critical to have open channels of communication. It helps avoid misunderstandings. We've used these channels when we've taken action like export controls or our recent outbound investment restrictions to explain what we're trying to accomplish, to avoid misunderstandings that can worsen the relationship needlessly.
You have a particular insight into what makes your counterparts tick, I imagine, through those conversations that you've had. And so we've seen the president-elect talk about large, universal, punitive tariffs. Do you have any insight into how they might respond if they are threatened with something like that?
Well, I really don't want to make a forecast. Many countries, when they're faced with unilateral actions of that sort, look for ways to retaliate, and my guess would be that they would do that. We have in areas of concern where I've expressed repeatedly concerns with overcapacity that is developed in Chinese advanced manufacturing industries and clean energy, semiconductors, and the like. We think it reflects active, large subsidies that are flooding the world with exports and threaten to drive our firms out of business in areas that we think are critical to our own future. We've put in place tariffs. Now, they're strategic. They affected $18 billion worth of trade, certainly not all of our trade with China. And we did it to make sure that China's actions don't undermine our own plans to support these sectors. But broad-based tariffs, almost all economists agree that what they will do is hurt us by raising prices, possibly substantially, and making it more expensive for firms that need inputs from China to be able to acquire them and harm our competitiveness of firms that rely on those imports. So we've taken a strategic approach, focusing narrowly, and a broad-based approach I have serious concerns with, as most economists do.
那看下来呢，耶伦想表达的点就两个。第一呢，有沟通渠道非常重要，但又回到4年前没有沟通的这样一个状态。第二点呢，就是只支持他们认为产能过剩的领域加关税，比如说像一些绿色产业啊、半导体啊等，反对全方位的加关税，认为那样会促使物价变高，反过来伤害美国自己。好，那这次的分享呢就到这里，谢谢大家。